this issue is a very important one. There are so many qualified officers from the Southeast that can occupy this position. And in view of the fact that the president is empowered to appoint any other person to the membership of the National Defense Council and National Security Council, apart from being a service chief, it is important that the Mr. President should leverage on this empowerment by the Constitution to appoint from the array of qualified officers from the Southeast geopolitical zone into the National Defense Council or the National Security Council. It is absurd that right now that we have security challenges in Nigeria, anytime the National Defense Council of Nigeria meets or the National Security Council of Nigeria meets, no officer from the Southeast will be in that meeting. And the people will feel completely marginalized by this development. In fact, it's been the feeling out there. It may interest you to know, Mr. President and distinguished colleagues, that Major General Rogers Ibe Nicholas, who is the commander of Lafia Dole, that has been fighting insurgency in the Northeast, is from Imo State of Nigeria. And if he's holding such a serious command position, and we are discussing issues of security, a National Defense Council, a National Security Council, such a person cannot be involved in the discussion of issues of security in Nigeria. I sincerely believe that if the Senate considers this on the basis of imperativeness, that to include every part of Nigeria in decision-making processes and in bringing things to the knowledge of very high-powered decision-making organs in this country, that all parts of Nigeria shall be represented.
Mr. President does not have an option. What we have seen has been a deliberate, I repeat, a deliberate misreading of the Constitution as to the powers of Mr. President to decide on his own to determine who he can appoint. I'm very glad that in the motion of the matter of what constitutes the Defense Council, Section H says, such other members as the President may appoint, which gives Mr. President and Commander-in-Chief the option to co-opt people from outside the service chief in whichever way that he wants. So what we're seeing is the fact that despite the provisions of this Constitution, despite the options that are given, there is a deliberate attempt not to let some parts of this country be part of the security architecture.
The position taken by my friend, my brother, distinguished Senator Ume, is a gross misunderstanding of the provision of the Constitution, sir. There is a clear distinction, sir, between what is called the officer corps and appointment. And let me tell you, sir, when this Constitution was enacted, the military never wanted a situation where it will be held responsible for certain actions. And it wanted those actions to be determined by a representative of the people, because they knew that the Constitution has constituted what is called the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the House of Representatives. Mr. President, let us not forget that Section 219 has taken care of the powers of the President under Section 217 and 218. And because that law was not in place, it became imperative for the President to make appointment and bring that appointment into the Senate for confirmation, where everyone is represented. Mr. President, let me say that the entire list in the motion sponsored by Senator Ume were brought here. They were examined by the Senate. The Senate found it convenient and expedient at that time to approve their appointments, and everybody was represented in the Senate, sir. and those appointments were approved. We must be extremely careful, sir, extremely careful. As senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, we must be extremely careful about the product that comes out from this chamber. On this matter, I think it will be a gross misunderstanding of the provision of Section 217, 218, and 219 read together, and then it will equally be an indictment of the Senate that has sat down to approve appointments that were brought here by Mr. President for us to go back and play politics with it. I think this is not nice, this is not expedient, and I think this should be discouraged by every member of this Senate. Thank you very much.
Motion really is not a motion at the end they will be able to get a consensus or because of different interpretation of the Constitution. The points have been, as highlighted by the mover of the motion, has been well highlighted. And I think that in my own view, this is not a motion that will be able to reach a consensus on, with all due respect. And I don't think that we have raised the points. I think the points are well raised. And I think I would like to rule that what you have raised is noted. And I think that it is the best way for us to guide ourselves on this matter with all sincerity. The points, you cannot argue the points, neither can you argue what's in the Constitution. So I think I will take that as noted.